Hi, I'm Mark Tooley. Welcome to Medicine Voice. Today, I'll be talking about defining social anxiety. Now, the latest revision of the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual IB4 Text Revision DSM-IV-TR outlines the specific criteria for arriving at diagnosis of social anxiety. Feeling a bit bashful sometimes, needless to say, is not among them. To be diagnosed with social phobia, as the DSM-IV-TR still calls it, despite the now generally preferred term social anxiety, a person has to have a persistent and distinct belief that he or she will be severely embarrassed and humiliated if put under the scrutiny of other people. The fear of social situations must provoke anxiety to the extent of having a panic attack. That is a psychological reaction to the situation, such as increased heartbeat, tremors, sweating, or nausea. Contemplation of facing a social situation has to interfere significantly with the person's normal functioning in school, at work, or in interpersonal relationships. It is a pervasive fear, and not a response to a single, especially troubling public event. Most significantly, the person has to recognize that the fear is excessive, unreasonable, and unrealistic. When a patient I interview meets all these criteria and a few others, I know that she's not just bashful. She's suffering from a psychiatric illness called social anxiety, and there are effective treatments I can offer her. The definition and diagnosis of social anxiety has evolved with new research over the decades since it was first recognized as a psychiatric disorder in 1980. At its first mention in the DSM-III, social phobia was thought of as a fear specifically of public performance and was distinguished from avoidant personality disorder, which was viewed as much more generalized fear of all or most public situations. This had consequences for treatment. People with personality disorders are not generally treated with medications. Those with social anxiety are. So this left many people without treatment who almost certainly could have benefited from it. By 1987, when the DSM-III was published, a subtype of social phobia had been added to include those who feared most social situations, not just performances. This development has created its own problems. There was no category for those who fear multiple but not most social situations. The exact meaning of the word most wasn't clear, and distinguishing social anxiety from avoidant personality disorder was still almost impossible. Although the latest DSM edition, the DSM-IV-TR, still defines social phobia in much the same way, it also urges professionals to consider the diagnosis of avoidant personality disorder as comorbid, that is, existing simultaneously with social phobia. Most important, the new definition now includes children, and this has opened new areas of research and led to new ideas about the evolution of the disorder. None of this means that deciding who has or doesn't have social anxiety disorder is always clear and straightforward. The symptoms vary across a wide spectrum, and the subjective feelings of the patient, usually some non-specific physical symptoms, are the only evidence for the illness. There's no lab test for it, and of course, just about everyone experiences anxiety at one time or another, so there is always a degree of judgment involved in arriving at the diagnosis, even when that judgment is well grounded in knowledge and experience. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye.